Welcome back, everybody, to the Deep Dive. Ready to go deep with us again?
Always.
Today, we're diving into the world of social media algorithms,
Oh, yeah.
and especially what it all means for professionals in advertising and PR like you.
Right?
So get ready to have your mind blown as we break down some seriously insightful stuff from Professor Eric Messa.
Mm-hmm.
He coordinates the undergraduate advertising and public relations programs.
Okay, yeah.
And he's got some fascinating things to say about how these algorithms are
Yeah,
shaping our world.
absolutely.
Okay, so think about this.
Okay.
Have you ever felt like
Yeah.
your social media feed is like
Mhm.
reading your mind?
Yeah.
Or like you just can't focus on anything longer than a TikTok video?
Yeah, that's out.
We're going to unpack why that is and what it means for your work.
It's so true. It's amazing how often we hear about algorithms,
Right.
but we rarely stop to think about how they actually work.
Yeah.
The huge impact they're having, especially in the world of advertising and PR.
Yeah, for sure. We all know they're there working behind the scenes, but like
Right.
most of us in advertising and PR, we don't really get the WHY or how.
Exactly.
So, how about we start with how these algorithms have even evolved over time?
Oh, okay.
I mean, they didn't always work this way, right?
Yo, you're totally right, they didn't.
Yeah.
Remember the old days of social media? Way back when?
Yeah.
When our feeds were just simple timelines?
Yeah.
Everything appeared chronologically. Most recent posts at the top.
Oh, yeah.
But then around 2010, platforms like Instagram and TikTok, they started using algorithms
Right.
to curate personalized feeds for each user.
So instead of seeing everything in order,
Exactly.
we started seeing posts that the algorithm thought we'd like.
Right.
It's like our feeds became these custom-designed echo chambers of content.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
So is this intentional? Were they trying to create an addiction or something?
Well, Professor Messa has this really fascinating perspective on this. He argues that the initial goal wasn't addiction, but it was to keep users engaged.
Right.
They want to show users content they were likely to enjoy.
So basically like how platforms like Facebook and Instagram keep us scrolling and watching.
Exactly. Keep us close.
More data, more targeted ads.
Exactly.
And then ultimately more revenue for them.
Exactly.
But then did that create an unintended consequence?
Well,
It's less about intentionally creating an addiction, but more about maximizing engagement, which then might have unintentionally led to these addictive behaviors.
Right.
It's subtle, but it's important.
Absolutely.
So what does this mean for those of us working in advertising and PR?
Well, that's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Think about your target audience, right?
Yeah.
They're spending hours scrolling through these highly personalized feeds.
Right.
They're being bombarded with content that's tailored to their interests.
Yeah.
So how does this new landscape affect our ability to capture their attention with brand messaging? It's like we're competing against this algorithm
Right.
designed to keep users hooked. In a world of curated content, cutting through the noise isn't just about posting at the right time anymore, is it?
No.
It's about understanding these algorithms.
Yeah.
What makes them tick?
Yeah.
What type of content do they like?
Totally.
What does engagement actually look like on all these different platforms? Like a whole new game.
It is. Yeah.
Right.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is a whole new ballgame. And you know what else is interesting?
What's that?
And that brings us to another huge trend, right?
Okay.
The rise of short-form video.
Oh, yeah.
Platforms like TikTok and Instagram Reels,
Yeah.
they've just exploded, haven't they?
It has.
Capturing our attention with these quick, super engaging videos.
And I'll admit, even as someone who works in this field,
Yeah.
I catch myself getting lost in those endless TikTok scrolls.
Right.
Makes you wonder.
Are all these bite-sized videos training our brains to just crave that constant stimulation?
Mhm.
Is it impacting our ability to focus on longer content,
Yeah.
especially when we're trying to come up with, compelling advertising and PR campaigns?
That's a really good question. And that's exactly what Professor Messa is talking about.
Oh, okay.
He suggests that these short form videos, as engaging as they are,
Yeah.
could be contributing to shorter attention spans.
Interesting.
He points to research that shows that our brains
Okay.
release dopamine, like that feel-good chemical,
Right.
in response to new and stimulating content.
Oh, yeah.
And these short videos just provide that constant stream of novelty, right?
Yeah.
Keeping those dopamine hits coming.
So it's harder and harder to engage with anything
Totally.
that requires sustained attention.
Yeah.
It's like our brains are getting used to instant gratification. We're constantly hit with information.
Yeah,
It's harder and harder to slow down and absorb anything. That takes more than a few seconds of our attention.
it is.
So what does this mean for the future of advertising and PR messaging?
Yeah.
How do we adapt to this new reality?
Yeah.
I mean, crafting compelling long-form content is still important, right?
Absolutely, it is.
Yeah.
Long-form content has its place, for sure,
Okay.
especially when you're conveying complex information,
Right.
building deeper connections with your audience.
Okay.
The key is to figure out how to use both
Right.
short and long-form content effectively.
Interesting.
Think of short-form video as your attention-grabbing hook.
Okay.
You know, your way to break through the noise, pique their interest,
Yeah.
and then you use that spark to draw them into more in-depth content.
Gotcha.
That's where you can really unpack your message,
Right.
tell your brand's story.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
It's about finding that balance
It is.
between, leveraging the power of short-form video to
Mhm.
grab their attention
Exactly.
while still giving them that valuable in-depth content
Absolutely.
that resonates with them.
Mhm.
It's like creating a multifaceted campaign
Totally.
that caters to different levels of engagement, right?
It is, yeah.
But, what really sticks with me, and I hope with our listeners too,
Yeah.
is Professor Messa's emphasis on responsibility.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, in advertising and PR, it's so easy to get caught up in the numbers, right?
Right.
The clicks, the likes, the shares.
Absolutely.
But we also have to be responsible, right?
Uh,
Mindful of the impact our content can have,
of course.
you know?
Yeah, we're not just creating content in a vacuum.
Right.
We're shaping perceptions, influencing behavior,
Yeah.
contributing to this whole digital landscape.
Yeah.
Professor Messa, he challenges his students and all of us in this field
Got it.
to really think critically about the messages we're putting out there.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Are we feeding into this culture of instant gratification, shortened attention spans? Right.
Or are we creating content that's both engaging and meaningful?
Yeah.
Something that actually adds value to people's lives?
That's a great question.
Yeah, it's a big one.
It is. And it's not just about ethics.
Yeah.
It's about effectiveness, too.
Right.
If we just keep bombarding our audience with shallow,
Yeah.
attention-grabbing content,
Mm-hmm.
they'll eventually tune us out.
They will. Yeah.
They'll become numb to all the noise.
Totally.
It's about finding that sweet spot
Yeah.
where we grab their attention without exploiting it, where we entertain and inform without overwhelming.
Exactly.
It's a tough challenge.
It is.
It
yeah.
really requires a deep understanding of how these algorithms work, the
Right.
psychology of engagement,
Hmm.
and a commitment to creating content that's both, compelling and responsible.
Absolutely.
But Professor Messa offers some pretty practical advice
He does.
that I think can help us navigate this whole thing.
Yeah, he does.
He does.
One of the best things he encourages
Is just taking a step back. He's big on what he calls digital detox moments.
Oh, interesting.
He challenges his students, and this is something we can all do,
Yeah.
to disconnect from the constant stream of digital stuff,
Right.
whether it's for an hour a day,
Yeah.
a whole weekend, or even a week-long digital sabbatical.
Wow.
It can be so beneficial to give your brain a break from all that stimulation.
It's like hitting the reset button.
It is.
It gives you this space to think,
Yeah.
to reconnect with yourself
Uh-huh.
and the world around you.
Exactly.
And I think it can help you approach your work with, a fresh perspective.
Absolutely.
When I take time to disconnect,
Yeah,
I come back feeling more creative, more
Mhm.
focused, more inspired.
I agree.
But let's be real.
Okay.
Disconnecting completely
Yeah.
isn't always realistic.
Yeah.
Especially for those of us who work in this always-on digital world.
Exactly.
So what are some other strategies,
Yeah.
maybe more manageable strategies we can use to kind of regain control of our attention?
Well, disabling notifications is a great place to start.
Okay.
I mean, they're designed to pull us back in, right, to that
Oh.
endless scroll.
Constantly interrupting,
Yeah,
hijacking our attention.
exactly.
Turning them off can be so freeing.
Can.
You'd be surprised how much more you can get done
Oh, for sure.
when you're not constantly bombarded with pings and alerts.
It's amazing.
It's so true.
Yeah,
It's like taking back control
it is.
of your time and energy.
Mm-hmm.
You're choosing when you engage
Right.
rather than letting it control you.
Exactly.
And it's not even just about productivity.
No.
It's about being present,
Right.
being able to have a conversation
Yeah.
without checking your phone every 5 seconds,
Right.
enjoying a meal,
Yeah.
without having to post it on Instagram.
Exactly.
We know.
It's about reclaiming those little moments
Yeah.
that make life meaningful.
Exactly.
So once you've got control back,
Okay.
you can be more intentional about the
Mhm.
content you actually want to consume
Okay.
instead of just passively scrolling.
Yeah.
Professor Mesa suggests actively seeking out content you care about.
Oh, funny story.
Content that aligns with your interests and values.
So basically curating your own experience
Exactly.
rather than letting the algorithm do it for you.
That's right.
So it's about being more picky,
Yeah.
more critical,
More conscious.
more conscious of how we're spending our time online.
Yeah.
Choosing quality over quantity.
Exactly.
Yeah, it really comes back to being intentional, right?
Totally.
Like in how we consume content, but more importantly, how we create it.
Absolutely.
Especially for those of us in advertising and PR.
Right.
It's a challenge.
Yeah.
You know, in this world of algorithms and short videos, how do we stand out as advertising and PR professionals?
It's a big question.
It is. How do we create those meaningful connections and make sure our message resonates?
Right.
You know, without just becoming more noise.
Yeah, without getting lost in the sea of content.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, you know, Professor Mesa always says, understanding the game is half the battle.
I like that.
We got to be creative,
Yeah.
strategic, and always adapt our approach.
Yeah, to keep up with this ever-changing digital world.
Exactly.
So what does that actually look like? You
Right,
know,
yeah.
what can we do to like rise above the noise and
Yeah.
connect with our audience?
Well, one thing Professor Mesa really emphasizes
Yeah.
is authenticity.
Okay.
You know, being genuine in your brand messaging,
Right.
telling real stories,
Yeah.
connecting with your audience on a human level.
Mm-hmm.
It's about creating content that provides value,
Okay.
sparks curiosity,
Yeah.
and invites conversation.
Right.
Think about what makes your brand unique,
Okay.
what stories you can tell
Yeah.
that will resonate with your audience,
Right.
and how you can use different formats.
Yeah. Short videos, long-form content,
Wow.
interactive experiences
Right.
to create this cohesive and compelling brand narrative.
It's like moving beyond just pushing products
Exactly.
or services, right?
It's bigger than that.
It's about building those relationships,
Yes.
fostering trust, and like creating a sense of community around your brand.
Absolutely, you got it.
Yeah.
And you got to understand your audience, what motivates them.
Right.
What are their pain points?
Yeah.
What do they actually find valuable and engaging?
So it's not just about understanding the algorithms themselves.
It's about the humans using them.
Exactly. It's about the people behind the screen.
It's about tapping into their needs and desires.
Yes.
That's what drives engagement and creates lasting connections.
You got it.
It's where strategic thinking meets human connection, right?
It is.
We're using our knowledge of the algorithms and how people engage
Yeah.
to create content that's both effective and ethical.
You know, something that resonates with our audience without taking advantage of their attention
Right.
or just contributing to the noise.
I think that's the key.
Yeah, that's a powerful message.
It is.
It's a challenge
Mm-hmm.
that all of us in advertising and PR really need to be thinking about,
Yeah,
talking about,
for sure.
and actually working towards.
Yeah, absolutely.
So as we
We would.
share your thoughts on social media
Yeah,
or reach out to us directly.
please do.
Until next time, keep exploring.
Keep diving deep